Hold up a second. There we go. All right.
In the 1800s, Irish, Italian, and German immigrants came to America fairly frenetic. Many citizens believe immigration to be gratuitous. However, this followed the initial immigration of which our country is based on. Each and every person is a descendant of immigrants. Our country was formed by immigrants, and we would not be here today without them. The varieties of immigrants create ethnic diversity throughout our society. According to Source B, in 1816, the Irish began immigrating to the United States. The Irish brought great value and contributions to our country. This includes becoming political and religious leaders as well as leaders of union efforts. Along with the Irish came Italians. Italians brought their influence in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church adopted their ways and they are still being used today. Their biggest contribution was food. Americans love Italian and we wouldn't have it without them. Lastly came the Germans. Germans arrived with great agricultural skills. For example, they raised livestock and grew grains and tobacco. They also had wonderful craft skills and farming techniques. Germans taught us so much about using our land to our advantage.
America is based upon diversity and the theory of the melting pot. If there were no Irishmen helping to build a stronger union, or Germans developing American education, America would not be where it stands today. Why then do the American people, descendants of immigrants, whose culture, economy, government, and way of life are so deeply tied to open borders, emit such a passion against free immigration? Why did they hope so desperately to deny late 20th century immigrants to the benefits to which their own 18th and 19th century ancestors were privileged? The poverty-stricken foreigners who expect to benefit most from immigrating into the American economy rarely possess the resources adequate for legal entry. Therefore, they are almost always denied. Such immigration policy is based upon a nationalistic confusion regarding economics, the mobility of labor, and cultural diversity. I ask you, how can you restrict our nation from becoming stronger and keep these people from seeking opportunities just like the rest of us?
Okay, 1 minute 54 seconds. Rebuttal.
Okay, so you talked about how immigration was good in the past and it benefited a lot back then, but what are we getting now from immigration that we can't just get from anywhere else, like the internet has sources that can help us learn from other countries?
Yeah, technology has allowed the spread of these ideas to happen across the oceans. We don't need people to migrate to our countries to get their ideas. The technology can share the ideas and transport across the sea in trade or idea sharing. Social media and the internet allow for ideas and thoughts and new procedures and technology to be shared without physical interaction necessary. So we don't need immigrants to migrate to our country to share their ideas. We can share them online and get the same benefit without the dangers of these people on our soil.
54 seconds.
Point 2.
Open immigration has proven to be egregious to the United States' economy. According to Source B, open immigration introduces an unregulated group of workers that are often underpaid, rarely reported for tax purposes, and take jobs that would otherwise be taken by documented citizens. They are more willing to work for less than minimum wage, making them more likely to be hired over U.S. citizens. Immigrants often work to support family back home, where the U.S. dollar goes much further than it does here. Due to this, the money they make does not make it back to the U.S. economy. Money that would usually go to support local businesses is removed from the system entirely. According to Source D, over 5.6 million undocumented immigrants lived in the United States from Mexico alone in 2014. To put this into perspective, let's say they each sent $25 a day to their family back home. The economy would lose $140 million a day, or approximately $50 billion a year from this. It is impossible to account for the deflation of the US dollar caused by this, as well as how detrimental it is to the economy. The negative effects of open immigration on the economy are flagrant due to the legal citizens who have worked so hard to make the U.S. as great as it is.
131. Rebuttal.
you stated that immigrants are detrimental to the economy and that they are taking jobs away from American citizens. Yet, in most cases, immigrants are the ones that take the essential jobs that legal citizens don't want to take. And these are the jobs that must be filled to keep our cities and our streets clean. And immigrants, the only ones willing to do. So if you have legal citizens unwilling to do jobs, somebody has to do them. These jobs are often filled by immigrants. So how are they taking jobs away from legal citizens?
And this country is based on doing hard work and getting things out of it and sending this money back home. Usually if they're sending this money back to their families are eventually going to immigrate over here on their own. And these are the families that develop into great minds like Andrew Carnegie, who developed the steel industry in America and made it possible for us to be the powerhouse economy that we are.
1 minute exactly. Point 3, Crow.
Okay, so many people believe that immigrants hurt the economy, that they steal jobs and use welfare and Medicare paid for by hardworking Americans. But this simply isn't true. And in fact, immigrants are some of the hardest working members of American society and have huge positive impacts on our economy and government tax revenue. As stated in Source A, undocumented immigrants alone contribute significantly to state and local taxes, collectively paying an estimated $11.64 billion per year. And it's really important to note the difference between an undocumented immigrant and someone who's legally immigrated to the U.S. and the whole idea of a open border policy would be to make it easier for someone to come to the U.S. legally and then have all the rights and make it easier for them to pay taxes. And if the current undocumented immigrants in the U.S. were granted legal status and citizenship, the U.S. GDP is estimated to grow by $1.4 trillion over a 10-year period, and immigrants would also help create an estimated 200,000 jobs per year and add $184 billion in tax revenue. If immigrants were granted legal status and citizenship after 5 years of being in the country, the GDP would still grow by $1.1 trillion, and there would be an additional 100,000 jobs per year.
The U.S. currently spends approximately $20 billion on immigrant regulation every year. It is also estimated to cost $114 billion to remove the 11.3 undocumented immigrants we have in the United States today. Our government simply does not have these funds. By having an open immigration policy, these superfluous costs can be alleviated and instead be used for far more important purposes, such as education, infrastructure, or paying off our national debt. We are saving government funds by having open immigration. People come to the U.S. for the economic opportunity that our country offers. The constant inflow of immigrants into the United States is what keeps our economy growing.
2+. Rebuttal.
Okay, so back to the part about welfare not necessarily being that much of an issue, but for immigrants coming into the country that need welfare, if they take it in their lifetime, it can add up to trillions of dollars for each person, and that it comes straight from Source E.
And yes, immigrants are paying billions of dollars in taxes, but there's like even more that they're not paying. Most of illegal immigrants do tax evade and don't pay their taxes. And also, for them taking jobs that wouldn't be filled by Americans otherwise, it's shown that actually immigrants ages 16 and older, 19% are in construction, and those are jobs that Americans would have normally.
Point 3, Khan. Oh, and I'm sorry, the rebuttal was 48 seconds. Sorry about that. hold on a second, sweetie.
This is Con.
48 seconds. Okay.
Immigration is something that should be seen as a traffic light. When it's safe to cross or come into the United States, the light should be green. However, when such conflicts and disruptions occur, the light should remain red to ensure the welfare of those within and out of the country. That's the purpose of immigration, to limit the number of people in which the United States is able to take into its borders for the benefit and safety measures of the people. But the traffic light shouldn't remain green, as future threats and misconduct can be the result of this. The U.S. open-door policy in some instances can lead to grave consequences when seen in this perspective. The frenetic rate of illegal aliens crossing the borders is astounding, as over 5.6 million people, according to SourceD, have crossed into the United States illegally from the Mexican border alone within 2014. A large quantity of this number can be identified as those who are involved in drugs or crime. The drug industry is booming across the United States borders, especially from Colombia, which is the largest cocaine producer in the world. Sitting next to the United States means that when smuggled, these drugs can be seen as a real threat on dangerous levels. The drugs that are smuggled into the United States, such as cocaine and marijuana, can severely pollute the population and even the younger generation. The crime rate is also a large contributing factor that benefits from the downpour of illegal immigrants that are easily able to enter the United States. Crime is like a disease. Once it has a place to settle, it's able to spread to locations of faraway distances. In this case, it mainly follows the large cities within the United States, including Miami, Houston, and especially Chicago. Almost 800 cases of homicide were reported in Chicago alone in 2016 from illegal immigrants. These gratuitous actions result in a further poisoning of the people, which can only lead to more disruption, conflict, and dismay within the United States. The idea of immigration is meant for the benefit of the country, and not for the self-harm within its communities. If that's what immigration will bring to this country, there is no reason why anyone wouldn't regulate the border control to ensure everyone's safety.
2 minutes. Rebuttal?
Yeah, frenetic.
So, illegal immigration is going to occur whether or not immigration is open or restricted. In fact, restricting immigration would probably cause a higher motive to sneak into our country. We need to alleviate illegal immigration by opening immigration and allowing people who want to come in to just come in and not feel the need to sneak into our country. Also, smuggling happens with illegal immigration. It doesn't happen with the people who are trying to come here to find opportunities to start a life. Smuggling would happen illegally and it would happen either way.
Yeah, and as you said, illegal immigrants are coming in just as tourists. There's really no way of saying, they're coming in,
As immigrants.
right, as immigrants. And providing illegal immigrants with amnesty would actually make up for a lot of what we're losing in welfare.
Okay.
Because they have to.
55 seconds. Alrighty then. Point 4.